Hello, guys. Well, tomorrow is your science test, so we are going to get started with a review. If you're watching this lesson, then you're doing a good job of watching the lesson, not just trying to do the assignments. You're going to get a lot of help today. You'll get rewarded for watching this lesson because I'm going over the test questions. So I hope everybody does this, but I'm sure there's some people who will be lazy and not do it today. But you're doing it, so good job. Well, we're going to go over what's going to be on your test tomorrow. So most of the questions anyway. This is your Unit 5 review in your book on page 263, I think it is, if you'd like to turn there. Page 263. So if you'd like to turn there, and we'll go over this together, and it will help you get ready for your test tomorrow. If you're a good listener today, you'll have no problem with the test tomorrow. Hint, hint. Okay, so let's get started here with question number 1. And here we're using this word bank over here to find the answers. Small plants that live close to the ground and soak up water and minerals like a sponge are called what? Well, if you'll remember, there were 2 types of plants we started off looking at. There were vascular plants, those plants that have veins, look at like at the back of a leaf. It looks like it has blood veins like your wrist does. Those are vascular plants. And the ones that grow close to the ground that are more like a sponge, they're non-vascular. Non-vascular. They're more like a moss. They don't have leaves with little veins running through them. They're non-vascular. So those small plants that live close to the ground, that soak up water, are non-vascular. Number 2, animals that have 3 stages in their life cycle go through what? Well, we talked about 2 types of metamorphosis: complete metamorphosis, egg, larva, pupa, adult. There's 4 stages in complete metamorphosis. Incomplete metamorphosis is egg, nymph, adult. There's 3 stages in incomplete metamorphosis, so that's the answer because it asks for 3 stages of the cycle. Incomplete metamorphosis would be the answer for number 2. Number 3, a characteristic that helps an organism survive. Well, we did lots about that last week when we were practicing reviewing this unit. Those things that animals can do or have on their body to help them survive are called adaptations. So number 3 is adaptation. 4, parts of plants that use the sunlight to produce sugar for a plant's food are called what? So we talked about plant parts. Which part of the plant collects the sunlight? Do you remember? It's the leaves. The leaves collect the sunlight, and they take it in and they use it to produce sugar for the plant during what's that process called? It's called photosynthesis. Leaves take in the sunlight for the plant. Number 5, the process by which a sperm cell joins with an egg cell is called fertilization. Fertilization, that's how new seeds are made when the sperm cell joins with the egg cell. Fertilization. Number 6, a cell from a fern plant that produces a new plant. Remember, those fern plants don't have seeds. They have little tiny things on the bottom of them called spores. Okay, so fern plants have spores that fall and go off of them, blow off of them, and will start a new plant. Okay, so number 6 is spores. 7, all of the living and non-living things in an area make up the environment. Environment is all the living and non-living things in an area. And 8, the movement of sperm cells from the male parts of a flower to the female part occurs through the process of what? Notice number 5 and number 8 are close. Number 5 talks about when that sperm cell joins with the egg cell. That's fertilization. But the movement from the plants, the sperm cell to the female part is called what? That's called pollination. That's what the bees do. They pick up the pollen on their legs and drop it at the next flower. That movement is called pollination. So make sure you know the difference between number 5 and number 8 here. When that sperm cell and egg cell join together, that's fertilization. But the movement of the sperm cell is called pollination, okay? All right, moving on. Whoops. All right, there we go. Number 9, Kento is studying a plant. He observes that it has roots, a stem, and leaves with veins. What can he conclude about this plant? Well, you know that if it has leaves, it's a vascular plant. So number 9 is B. It's a vascular plant. Plants with leaves are vascular. Not all plants with leaves have flowers. Not all plants with leaves die at the end of their growing season. Non-vascular plants don't have leaves. So this one is B. Number 10. Which stage below is a part of incomplete metamorphosis, but not of complete metamorphosis? Well, remember, incomplete metamorphosis is egg, nymph, adult. Do you see one of these down here? Yeah, nymph. So 10 is C. It's part of incomplete metamorphosis, but not complete metamorphosis. We are going to skip number 11, go to number 12. Examine the beak on the bird below. So last week we looked at a whole lesson on bird beaks, and we found that those small cone-shaped beaks, they're good for cracking little seeds, cracking little nuts, is what we saw in our experiment. So that would be B, eating small seeds. Tearing food, it was the birds with a hook, like the hawks and eagles. Getting flower nectar was B, the long, skinny beak, like a hummingbird. Digging insects from bark, it kind of had a longer, not as long as the hummingbird, but it was able to dig into the trees because it had a longer beak. So this one, this little small cone-shaped beak, is good for cracking seeds open, eating small seeds, B. 13, the bald cypress tree produces seeds protected within cones. This type of tree is found in swampy areas where heavy rains produce floods. The floodwaters help spread the cones. Now remember, inside the cones are seeds. They spread the cones throughout the swampy areas. So what role do the waters play in the life cycle of the bald cypress tree? So now we talked about how water can cause pollination, but we're not moving pollen, are we? We're moving seeds. So fertilization, no. Seed dispersal, that's going to be it. Dispersal means moving seeds from place to place. So 13 is C, because those floodwaters take those cones away from the plant, from the tree, and move them somewhere else. They disperse them to other places. There's seeds in the cones, so it's seed dispersal. C is number 13. All right, number 14. Here's a butterfly and some bees visiting a flower to obtain nectar. What process are these insects helping the plant carry out? We just talked about, didn't we? Those little insects land on the flower and get the pollen on them, and then they go take it to another flower. So that's pollination, moving that pollen from one flower to another. Pollination. Number 15. The caddisfly is an insect that can live in streams for months. When its body is more worm-like, there's our clue, this fly builds an underwater house from pebbles to protect it from predators. Which stage of metamorphosis is the fly in at this point? What point? When it's worm-like. Do you remember which stage of metamorphosis is worm-like? It's that caterpillar when it comes out of the egg. So egg, larva. A larva is like a worm. So remember that when you test, worm-like caterpillars are larvae. Pupa is like the cocoon. Okay, adult would be the butterfly. All right, 16. Sharks can smell very small amounts of substances in ocean water. What does this physical adaptation most likely help sharks do? Okay, sense water temperature. That's got nothing to do with smell. Find a place to lay eggs? Nah. Find a safe place to hide? Maybe, but I don't see sharks hiding from many things. Do you? Find food that's far away? Yes. So they have a strong sense of smell. That's an adaptation that helps them find food. So 16 is D. 17, monarch butterflies migrate to warm places every winter. What's this migration an example of? Okay, you know, this one is an instinct. They just know to fly south when it starts getting cold. They know it automatically. That's something they do automatically. That's an instinct. Okay, 18. Sarah visits the local nature center. She sees a number of young animals. Which of these animals hatches from an egg? Well, we know turtles hatch from eggs. You've seen probably pictures of them or videos of them on the ocean when the little baby turtles come out of the egg and they try to get real fast into the ocean water, those sea turtles. Turtles lay eggs. It's a reptile. Dolphins? No. Bears? No. You ever seen a bear egg? Cheetahs? No. The answer is turtles. 9. A mahogany tree produces seeds that look like the picture below. Here's the seeds. Notice the blades on the surface of the seeds, these little sharp pointy things. What do these blades play? What role do these blades play in the life cycle of a mahogany tree? Would they protect the seed? I think that makes sense. End the plant's life cycle? Nah. Store food for the seedling? No, it looks like it'd fall out. Help disperse the tree seeds? No. They're kind of pointy. If someone wanted to eat that seed, it would probably hurt its mouth, wouldn't it? Because those blades protect the seed. Last one. Which of the following list stages of the life cycle of a plant? Okay, a seed plant. Sorry, that's an important word. Which of the following list stages in the life cycle of a seed plant? Spore. I'm going to stop right there because the spore is not a seed. So we know it's not that one. Germination, maturity, reproduction. Germination is the little plant starting to grow from a seed. Maturity is when it becomes a grown plant. Reproduction is when it produces more seeds. I bet that's the answer right there. Egg, larva, pupa. That's not plants, that's butterflies. Germination, nymph. No, that's incomplete metamorphosis. Nymph is. The answer is B. Remember, germination is when the seed breaks open and that little plant starts to grow. Maturity is when the plant is fully grown. Reproduction, it starts producing more plants, more seeds. And those are the questions, similar, that are going to be on your test tomorrow. So I hope you listen to these. You're going to do a good job on the test. So be ready for that test tomorrow. And then Wednesday, we'll spend a few more days before Christmas break learning a few new things about science. Thanks for listening today. Your test is tomorrow. Study, study.